This is Vineet Nair, and welcome to Maxit Talk the Walk. Maxit is one of its kind industry academia connect platform, which is looking to bridge the gap between both worlds. And as part of this initiative, today we are very fortunate to have Mr. P. Chandrasekhar Reddy, Vice President, Sales and Marketing, Freedom Healthy Cooking Oil. And we'll be understanding from him more about the strides the company has made all these years and the campaigns recently launched by the company. Welcome, Chandrasekhar, sir.
Yeah, thank you for bringing me here and giving me an opportunity to talk to you, Doctor. I'm very glad that that you're giving me opportunity once again.
Yeah. So just to brief about Freedom Healthy Cooking Oil, is the flagship brand for Gemini Edibles and Fats India Private Limited, and the brand is present in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Odisha, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. And the company has clocked a turnover of 5,423 crores for the financial year 2018-19, and they have got a range of oils including sunflower oil, rice bran, ground nut, palm oil, etc. And Freedom Healthy Cooking is championing the cause of immunity begins in the kitchen. So my first question to you, sir, would be, why the brand name Freedom for cooking oil?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and if I get an opportunity, I always say that name matters a lot. In the beginning, we always conversed with agency, several marketing experts. We got in a mixed view. If you ask some people, they say, what is in the name? There are brands like very unfamiliar brand names are successful. There are very meaningful names are also successful. True. But before that, we need to understand what is our consumer base, whom are we targeting? Our consumer base oil, then in the 2010, almost 99% of the homes use oil. Other than, who don't have a proper home, they may not buy the oil. But otherwise, every home, the oil is required. And at that time, in 2010, the sunflower oil penetration was close to 40% kind of homes. I mean, every 10 homes, 4 homes were using it. But unless until we make these 4 homes, out of 10, bring it to 6, 7 homes, then only our markets, we can be successful with our plans. So if that is a thing that has to be, then the name has to make a sense to all the people, to all the section A, B, C, D. Across the homes, it should make successful, and it should be easy on their tongue, and should give some meaning. This is a criteria from a marketing objectives point of view. But somewhere management felt, it's our feeling, that the name should be of English. Because somewhere, because of the marketing history started with the English people, Britishers, Europeans. So always the brands have only come with the English. It's not that Indian brand names are not successful. Because what are the branding per se started not from here, it started from the Western or American, etc. So always when you say brand, you only strike the English names. So it's our belief, management belief, that it should be an English name. But from a marketing side, looking at the the homes that it is to penetrate and all that, we wanted to have a meaningful. Of course, then we did a massive scientific and massive at the time research and among the colleagues and agency, our spouses, because they're better contributors. Then around 500 names came in. Then we filtered to 50, 60. The biggest issue even today, it is about getting a brand registration. You may have a fantastic name, but that's not available to you. So it's our luck that the Freedom name under section 29, edible oils comes under chapter 29 in the registration, brand names, registration, etc. It was available then. So we felt it's the best name, and we can do a lot of creative work around this name, because freedom means free. You are free to do what you want. You are, within the limits that is given to you. So I thought we can make a meaningful creative, and it's.
And the name is also very short, small, crisp, so that everybody
it's easy on tongue.
It
has got a meaning. It has got a meaningful, and 10 years later, I can say proudly that it has worked for us.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you, what is the, if you can elaborate on the brand journey of Freedom Healthy Cooking Oils, like these 10 years.
How has the brand evolved? Time is not sufficient, but I will still, I'll try to be in a given time, I'll try to do justice.
Yeah.
See, the brand journey has been very exciting. I would say very fantastic, because in a 10 years time frame, we have on all India basis, we reached to 16 point plus percentage of share in sunflower oil in all India. I mean, number two player. I mean, number two, not now. We are at least year 5, we were number 2 by market share in all India. And in the year 3, we were in AP and Telangana, we were at of number 1 by market share, around 42%. And Orissa in year 5 we were there. In Karnataka we are progressing very fast. That is one. And today see, and every year, each year we have grown at anywhere between 20 to 50% growth year after year. But in a 10-year time frame, we have grown at a CAGR of 50%. So that is on the top lines of it. If you have to be specific to the journey, you have to divide into 3. One is from the consumer side, consumer communication, and how we have been time to time been doing it in supply, and 3 in the channel partners. In a commodity, although it's a brand, but it has got some fundamentals of commodity. Edible oil, still a lot of people, is a price sensitive commodity. Retailers profit and distributors profit get maximized or eroded any of the price fluctuations. So these 3 are I have to mention these 3. So taking the consumer as if I have to say, we started with this brand with a positioning called freedom to eat, freedom to enjoy, because we wanted to stand by the name. After 6 months, then, actually this brand is built with a heavy consumer insights and heavy consumer feedback. So after 6 months of communication, we went back to consumers in 2010 and said, we asked them, what made you to change to this brand, freedom? What made you to retain this brand? What is that value that you are getting out of the brand? A lot of people have given us the feedback that, your edible oil consumes less oil. It is less sticky. So then we went back to drawing board. We collected all the brand samples again and again. So not only this thing, but several different products of the same brand, different areas.
That's why probably you have put it as guilt-free eating.
Yes, promote guilt-free eating. So then we realized that a lot of people are not giving genuine sunflower oil. We are not giving anything extra. We are giving a proper sunflower oil bought properly, impurities removed, what is unwanted to the human body, and as per the government prescribed something better within that. So then it was consuming less oil. They are able to cook more food. So from there on, while retaining to the overall brand positioning, guilt-free eating, freedom to eat, freedom to enjoy, we said, "Kam tel mein jada khana banao." So because the consumers have given that feedback, and thereon we have been saying the same communication, cook more food with less oil. From the 2010, sometimes second TVC we made. First TVC is guilt-free eating. If you have gone through our ads, probably you know. Yeah. So then promote guilt-free eating. Second onwards also it is same, but in a direct attack, then we didn't no turn back on that. So we, TVC 2 is same, TVC 3 is same, TVC 4 is same, 5 is same. So far we made every year in a TVC with a very refreshing communication, refreshing point of view, but end of the day central message remains same. So that's how it is never off the air. We have been using all the channels that is needed. At that time it was more of a mass media, but later as we realized that then certain metros need to be an out of door also. So we are an out of door. FM channels have then started picking up. We are there in FM for a tactical activities. Then we are there on the digital. In the last 3-4 years, we are gradually building up digital. So this is on the consumer side. So for a consumer, we have been offering same communication in a very refreshing manner. So that is on the consumer side. Coming to on the consumer side, most important is that today consumer not here to buy some cheap product. Consumers are smart in a lot. Consumers are smart. So we have to create one of the best value product at some value. So we have done it. So we have got the result. And coming to the company side, we started with a 200 tons per day refinery in 2010. Today in sunflower, we are at a 1300 tons per day refinery capacity we built. So we did not wait for sales to go up and put up the plant. We always started building up, increasing the capacity as the sales started hitting 100% of the capacity. We did not even every second year there was a plant addition in terms of either capacity increasing or a new plant. So with a very recent plant, very advanced automation machinery, today we are at 1300 tons per day refining capacity. We are one of the largest importers of the sunflower oil in the country. So that is what I'm saying to say is that we did not wait for the market to tell us that you need to increase the capacity. The plants in advance are made, and then time to time, as we increase, suppose if I have to supply 200 tons per day, requires X automation. But if I need to supply 500 tons a day, then X plus Y automation. Then if I need 1200 tons per day, probably I cannot depend on the manpower. Exactly, that's what we are doing it. Today, one of the plants we have is the highest less woman intervention. Today, I have a 1300 tons plant, and one of the plant can give me 600 tons. Less two plants gives me 700 tons, 700 plus 600. So my 600 tons plant has less manpower than the balance 700 tons two plants. So time to time, we have been taking advantage of that, brand growth and what consumer wants and what is the future like, with the manpower is always going to remain shortage. So on the supply side, coming to supply chain partners, like I mentioned some time ago, some time back, it is commodity in nature. So the price fluctuates a lot. So these distributors, retailers do change their point of view from time to time as the profit changes. So what was important is that taking care of these channel partners. Here it comes is that trust by channel partners to the company. So we are one team having a decades of experience in this field. We are way back, we started all this team of key people, started in edible oil business, joined in ITC Agrotech then, which is a Sundrop brand in 1989. And 1989 to 1997, 98, we were in the same company. And after 97 to 2002 till 2010, we were with Acalmer, the brand of Aadhaar. So we have a market in these 4 states had a lot of faith in us. So that could, immediately they were distributors. They were ready to invest money with us. They were ready to journey with us, take part in the growth. So time to time, what market need is that, adding up SKUs. Today, if you want to retain a distributor, not only one kind of edible oil, you need sunflower oil, you need groundnut oil, you need mustard oil. But different areas need different. Then you have, you need to focus on tins. Certain brands do not focus on tins. Certain brands do not focus on.
I think you also did a strategic shift, isn't it? The PET bottles were brought in at the latest stage.
Yeah, exactly. So the consumers are moving to PET bottles because hereafter, consumers are going to look at convenience. Consumers want to see the oil before you buy. So what I'm saying is, what channel partners wanted a kind of a support, which I've always been giving, and what wanted is addition of SKUs, addition of products.
Can I ask you something? So, like when we're talking about the packaging, the progression there. Now, I personally somehow felt that what you call the 1 liter packages that you launched was a bit late. Probably what was the reason for that? Because 1 liter, like it is probably targeted at the households. So it was a late segmentation. Like, okay, you want to go to the households. So what was it like? Because I could understand it was tins, then bottles, and then probably went into a PET sort of a thing, PET bottles.
Yeah. So if you need to look into a sunflower portfolio, today is one of the category sunflower that we have a product from 200 ml to 15 liter, 15 kg jar. But we always had a 1 liter pouch, which is poly pouch, not reusable, but use and throw pouch. But pouch is very cost effective. Today, pouch has got 1 liter pouch has got a 60% of our sale. Around 25% comes from bulk packs, which is 15 liter and all. And the rest comes is 3 liter, 5 liter jars. So at the time of a launch, year 2 itself, we launched a PET bottle. It's not that we are launched now. Okay. See, like there is a saying, right? There's a belief, I would say. Anything ahead of times fails. Anything later also fails. We launched 1 liter PET bottle then also. But the market did not receive it because we were at the nascent stage. So, but we realized that when we want to address who buys these PET bottles. Typically, the housewives' choice is less in this. It is, people with mobility, truck drivers or bachelors, or occasionally people use the oil. People whose consumption is very good. They are not the buyers of PET bottles. I'm saying in a large. In general, nothing is applicable, but nothing is true. But I'm saying in general, uh, it is mostly pet bottles are bought by the bachelors. People are mobility. Suppose I am going to picnic, say, with my family for 2 3 days somewhere. I want to carry everything. So right thing is not the pouch; it's the bottle.
Big bottle.
Or there is a family at the hospital. I just stay neighbor the room, so I need a bottle. So these are the requirements that are as a brand penetration increase, sales increased. We want to add up those SKUs, and then to now we made a lot of changes. We have gone to a very unique design. Earlier was also unique design, but it was not a cost effective. What we realized in the journey that whenever SKU that you launch, it has to be very cost effective. Edible oil is essential commodity. Price has to be reasonable. Consumer will pay for as long as it, but will not pay premium.
Premium format.
So
So
we launched that.
what is the segment, sir? Like if you look into the market share, like sorry, your revenue. So it would be like households and what they call if you try to categorize it. So where is the business mostly coming from for you?
Our company has basically three sales revenues verticals. One is consumer packs, which I am the head, which as of 31st March 2020, close to 3,800 kind of crores of a revenue. Total company revenue is 6,500 crores. Then there is another segment which is there into industries segment. Industries segment means fat without knowing it's a lot of places it is used. For example, you take chocolates, there's a fat used. You take ice cream, there's a fat used. If you go eat a puff pastry outside in a bakery, the fat is used. If you eat a biscuit, fat is used. If you eat Haldiram chips or Pepsi, Lay's, anything, fat is used. So we have another which forms part of roughly around 15-20% of revenue of our 6,500 crores comes from that industrial institutional supply. And then we have a bulk division. Bulk division means there are a lot of consumers do buy in the loose oil, in a small wholesale outlet they go and buy loose oil. Then there are a lot of packers for their branding. They buy the loose oil. A lot of private brands, small brands. So that forms part of roughly around 40% to 35% that forms part.
So how are you trying to position this Freedom cooking oil in the market? Because there are a lot of competitor brands in sunflower oil or barn oil, etc. So how is your product different? So what is the unique selling proposition that you are trying to tell to the masses?
Yeah, if you look at a brand's architecture, brand's positioning of any you take in edible oils, there are certain very premium brands are there. Then there are certain value for money brands are there, and then there are empty number of brands which doesn't have any brand, but they are called packed brands. Which are if I have to take the names here, take Saffola, Sundrop, they are probably if you ask a consumer, they don't know what oil is inside. But then with the in the last 20 years, the way information technology, the web, the internet has gone, now the consumer is aware. Earlier then 30 years he is not aware. You only bought the brand. He doesn't know what oil is inside. But now the consumers are smart. They're buying. They want to buy what oil. So we see that launching in that segment did not. There's no opportunity. So we launched a value for money segment. Offer a generic oil of highest quality, the value for money. So Freedom is in the value for money segment.
Value for money.
And that is where, if you look into the edible oil structure, that is where the market is growing. On the top, the markets are not growing.
So how it is? So you mean to say that it is competitively priced? So because when you're talking about a value for money proposition, when you look into when you try to benchmark with the competitors, it is what you call the pricing.
So there are certain brands which are sold in sunflower itself at 180 rupees a liter, which is Sundrop is a brand.
Yeah.
In my case, of late the prices have gone up because of this COVID and several situations. Earlier it was always at 110 rupees. So it is 70 rupees more. What that brand sells in all India, I sell in one Hyderabad city. So end of the day, I make same money as he makes, but he makes per liter more. I like overall it makes same.
So, sir, when you talk about the distribution strategy, you were talking about like how important are distributors in your value chain. So like what the distribution strategy, if we see, is more like an online and offline. So you are present on the e-commerce portals, and you're also supplying it to the distributors. So like what is your strategy like when you talk about a distribution strategy? What are you primarily focusing on?
Yeah, see, edible oil every home needs, and consumer is the same, company is same. Only the consumers which is buying are changing. Okay, if you go back to, I would say 20 years ago, 20 or maybe 30 years ago, a consumer, ordinary consumers whose income probably 10, 15,000, then I'm saying, used to go 10 kilometers to buy his provisions in a wholesale market. But with the things changing, now the retail markets improving, all that, we started buying the neighboring outlets. Then after supermarkets came. Now within the supermarket itself, there is a B2B, there is a B2C, there's a hypermarket. Now the affiliate which is changing is e-commerce. So we are always there across all the channels, but each channel dynamics are different. So slightly the trade policies differ. But end of the day, all these channels are only catering to only at towns which are, probably 70,000 above, 50,000 above only. But India is much vast than this.
Yeah, there's a huge scope
Right.
here, actually.
Huge scope. So oil is needed every village, every house.
Every house needs a oil for cooking, isn't it?
Every house needs oil. But then wherever every house is there, there's a retailer. But then wherever every retailer is there, there's no distributor. There's no supermarket. There is no e-commerce. There is no distributor. So we heavily dependent on also the wholesale channel. So if you take a town today in Hyderabad, there are certain wholesales are there. Wherever a distributor can't reach, wherever the modern supermarket B2Bs doesn't reach, these guys, the retailers, go to wholesale and buy. So for us, within the general trade, it's retail trade and wholesale distributor, and within the supermarket, it is B2B, B2C, hypermarket, e-commerce. All are important to us, and we have been having relevant focus.
So are you looking to increase your geographical footprint also, because more of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Orissa? Are you trying to move to north to move towards south strategically?
Yeah, strategically, what we are doing is, see, in edible oils, it is a thin margin, high turnover business. When you say thin margin, I'm not saying the margins are less, but it is not, probably, I hear from here to send it to Delhi, from here to say launch in Delhi, or from here to if it launch in Cochin also, for example. So it is additional freight of 2-3 rupees will be there more. So the 2-3 rupees more will eat away my, probably 80-90% of that profit. So when I am running at my 100% of the capacity, today I am at 1300 tons, I am already at 100% of the capacity. Okay, and so it doesn't make a sense to me to take away thousands of kilometers and market there.
Okay.
So we are focusing on state by state. So we started launching in AP and Telangana. Then we went to AP. We waited for 3 years. Today in AP, in Orissa, we are the largest. In AP, Telangana. Now we are focusing on Karnataka. In fact, we are next couple of years, we're going to spend heavily on Karnataka. So for us, the logical expansion is left is Tamil Nadu, because we have a plant very close to Chennai. But we did not choose then Tamil Nadu for, obviously, there was a strong brand that was sitting at the time. Here, there's one strong brand is there, but it's only present in small pockets. So we saw a wide gap here, then Tamil Nadu. So we launched it and we were successful. Then in Karnataka, we thought it is easier than Tamil Nadu. So Karnataka also is progressing. I'm sure in 2 years, you will see a lot of progress in Karnataka. Obvious logical expansion for us left is Tamil Nadu. After Tamil Nadu, then we'll wait for 3 years after Tamil Nadu, then we'll see the subsequent. But yes, I would say 10 years down the line, I probably next big market left is going to be Maharashtra. Maharashtra also good sunflower penetration is there. Of course, Kerala is also there. But so Maharashtra, you can't service it if you don't have a backup plan of putting up a plant there. Service it now, but later you can't have sustain that market without because there is additional cost of 2 rupees freight.
Got it. So now, when I was curiously observing your promotion strategy as well. So is there a deliberate attempt to push more into the digital media? You're spending more on the digital platforms now from a mass media.
Today, we have to be there where the consumer is there, right? So we are not one that, we are practically, we started with, probably 40, 50 lakhs a year, say 4 years ago. Now probably in the coming years, we'll be spending 4, 5 crores. So we are gradually adding up. First, we only were there in Facebook. First, we were only YouTube. Later, we added Facebook. Now we are there in Google banner ads. Okay, we are now there in a lot of OTT platforms. We are doing a trials and understanding how it is. So as the consumer is changing or changing, we are also changing.
So yes, have you shifted your spend from mass media to digital media? Is there a
No,
strategic shift? No.
rather I would say I am shifting my print. I'm reducing my print money to the digital.
Digital media.
Mass media,
So,
still we are maintaining the same.
so you mean to say that in the future also the relevance of mass media will be there, even though the OTT platforms and all are going to
Yes,
come?
still it is.
As,
Still
yeah.
it is. Still it is. Still it is.
So what do you say? So the journey has been very impressive, and what do you call the revenue forecast also looking good. Now, what are the challenges that you foresee in future? Because like the pandemic that we have right now, we are amongst a pandemic, and this was something which was never thought of in the forecasting. Even probably we never thought of in the sales forecast even while preparing it. So, like, what are the challenges that you foresee for this particular brand? Not only from a pandemic perspective, but I'm specifically talking about from a sales forecast perspective. How difficult it is becoming to forecast the sales.
The challenges is only that you need to understand. See, consumer is going to use oil. There's no replacement to oil. You can't, oil free. In fact, in the pandemic times, oil consumption has gone up for several reasons. Not only
Everybody's
the
sitting
intake
at
of food
home.
has gone up.
Yeah.
No, it is people also have feeling that a lot of edible oil has got a lot of micronutrients which are essential for it. See, you have to use moderate. Same way I would say even eating more rice also is not good, but eating rice is rice or a wheat is a must. So as oil, so you can control, but you can't stop it. So, but how this is consumer preference is changing is going to be challenging to. I mean, it's not a challenging. You need to be dynamic enough to understand. So it's a question of a marketing job to understand how consumer is changing. There's a lot of changes are happening in the distribution front also. It is not the same what was 30 years ago. It is not the same what 20 years ago. With pandemic coming in metros, e-commerce also picked up a lot. So the distribution understanding as the large players coming in, satisfying them, trading with them could be a challenge to us. And then in India, I don't see the retailers going away so easily.
Yeah, it is not.
Unlike it happened in probably Indonesia or Thailand, it's not going to happen. They're going to remain. So if they're going to remain today, they only have an option of buying from retailers. Sorry, they're buying from the distributors. But probably they'll have an option of coming from e-commerce. Like Jio is coming B2B.
Yeah, JioMart is coming.
Amazon also is coming B2B.
Yeah.
Okay, so these trends, the trends in the distribution, trends in the consumer, what product is going to change. So these are the challenges that we have to understand and as we have to re-strategize.
So like there might be also be supply chain blues that might come up, supply chain disruptions, and because next 1 year looks to be very crucial in terms of maintaining your supply chain.
That's a, yeah, I mean, for example, today heavily we are dependent on 2/3 of our edible oil requirement is imported from the foreign countries. Only 1/3 is roughly 40% is produced, 60%. Government is also gradually encouraging because wheat and paddy, rice are full of godon. It is overflowing in the warehouses. But then oil seeds are being imported. Oil seeds and pulses are heavily imported. The government is laying, but still we have to import the oil. Supply chain disruption, I don't think it will happen unless until a war kind of a situation externally or some kind of a COVID kind of a situation, another repeat may happen, but otherwise we don't see a problem. So that is the reason the brand is today having other variants also. Today, rice brand is there, brand is mustard is there, groundnut is there. So if we heavily, we have keeping those things in mind, we have the brand also is branched out into other variants.
So will Freedom only be in cooking oil segment, or we will see some other products also coming from the?
It's a good question at an appropriate time. Growth is life. When we stop growing it, we have to probably look into other variants. But today we have Tamil Nadu to do, maybe 5-7 years later Maharashtra to do. But yes, we do have, and time to time we debated internally, but we realized as long as we are growing top line and bottom line, why to divert our attention and efforts into too many places. But yes, I cannot say concretely we are getting into, but yes, at right stage we will do. Is that basically timeless plan?
So thank you very much, sir, Chandrasekhar sir, for coming on to Maxit and for sharing your views and how Freedom Cooking Oil, the journey of Freedom Cooking Oil, and how you have been doing really good in the market and how you are foreseeing the future for the brand. So thank you very much, sir, for coming on Maxit Talk the Walk. It was a pleasure hosting you on this particular show. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vinay. Thank you for giving me an opportunity and giving an opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you very much, sir.